time now to get to business with Nona Peltier. Hi, Nona. So, Tiwai Point, obviously, there's a question mark over the future of the aluminium smelter. Yes. Got weather on the brain at the moment. So, would that cause problems for the power sector meltdown?
It could potentially, but Genesis doesn't think so, and it's one of the big power generators. In case people don't know, the smelter uses up about 13% of New Zealand's total power consumption. So if it's shut down, it would be significant. But it doesn't necessarily mean that prices would plummet. And that's partly because the transmission costs between the North and South Island, you couldn't just simply divert that power to the North Island. It just wouldn't work out. So you'd need to upgrade the transmission line, about $600 million to do that. And so prices wouldn't necessarily plummet. They would be cheaper probably in the South Island in the short term. One thing it might do, though, is see us get rid of coal use in New Zealand sooner than later. And that could potentially change. So it's kind of a short, brief presentation. It's still up in the air. It's being reviewed whether or not the smelter closes. We'll know at the end of the first quarter of 2020, so that's about March.
Okay. So New Zealand Oil and Gas, it has, a takeover offer, but a bit of an uphill battle to get shareholders to agree to this. What's all going on behind the scenes?
There's a scheme of arrangement. So there's rules that are required for this takeover offer to go forward. And what it would require is 75%, I believe, of the minority shareholders would have to agree to sell their stake or agree to the takeover terms, because it's a scheme of arrangement, so it's a little bit different than just someone standing in the market and buying up the shares. So 75% would have to agree, and so far, with 40% of the minority share votes cast, it doesn't look like it would go ahead. So anything could change. The shareholders have, until about the 12th to post their votes. And then there's going to be a special meeting next Thursday. And then that will be decided. But for now, the share split is pretty much 48% of the votes cast so far. That's 40% are against the offer. So it might not go ahead. And certainly that was reflected in the share price today. It was down 10%. So it was at 65 cents. Now the offer was basically as much as 74 cents. So I think the market's probably thinking maybe it doesn't happen. So that's marked the share price down a little bit. Anyways, never mind. Otherwise, the market was up 0.75%. And that's on the back of some positive news out of the U.S.-China trade talks. Maybe some phased-in elimination of tariffs. Who knows? So that sounded pretty good to the market. So it rose 0.75%, up 82 points to 10,877. And the New Zealand dollar, you might wonder, is trading at 63.6 US cents, 92.5 Australian, and 49.7 British pence.
Thanks, Nona. Have a wonderful weekend. Nona Peltier there with our business news for the day.